there is a whole lot of pressure that's put on children to pledge. That's the part I think a lot of people don't like to talk about. We're talking about this hazing and living up to somebody else's standards and trying to fill in their shoes. And a lot of children get pressured. And if you notice, a lot of people are renouncing and denouncing these fraternities and these sororities. When you look at when you was young in college, even growing up, a lot of things we was off into was because of, the parents did it, grandparents did it, you were shown to do it. You didn't know what it was all about. You didn't study on it. You didn't know if it was wicked or righteous. Just be honest. But now I never thought I would see more and more people renouncing and denouncing their sororities and fraternities. But I remember when I was working with this brother, he was telling me about his son. He put so much pressure on his son to be a Q-dog, and his son almost went crazy. And the hazing that was done was something you never want to see anybody have to go through. And the spitting on him, the beating on him, and for the women who go through so much, all that nasty stuff they make you do, that's not even biblical for sure. But he kept saying that his son was trying to live up to his standards. And then another thing he said was, you better not ever come in this house trying to pledge something else, be a part of something else. You gotta be a Q-dog, nothing else. Don't you pledge this, don't you pledge that. And that's why you even look into this day right now, so many people, I'm gonna say women for sure, have talked about how they went against their husband. Because you have to be a certain way, do a certain thing. And I remember this one lady was talking about how when she was pledging and the things they made her do, even sexual. And why in the world would I want to put something like that on my child? People ask me all the time on her, did you go to college? No, I didn't go to college, so of course I didn't pledge. But I've always had people try to get me to be off in Freemasonry, be a Mason. They still do. And what I look at is this word right here, organization. Organization. I'm not trying to be a part of no organization. Same thing with a church building. You look at them, most of them then became an organization, and it became a business, and it became something that the Most High never showed us how to do like that in that sense. But when I see people that I know that have came out of, I'm not this no more, I'm not that no more, and then the family is mad at them. Can you imagine that? Trying to be something. See, people always try to tell you, you got some big shoes to fill. You gotta really fill them shoes. No, I ain't trying to fill nobody's shoes but my own. Real talk. I've had that, oh man, you come out of this and that, and your family and your uncle is a pastor, out of this, and if you go to school, you gotta fill shoes. No, I ain't trying to fill nobody else's shoes but my own. I ain't trying to be nobody else, act like nobody else, sound like nobody else, walk like somebody else, unless it's my Savior. Now, we can talk about that. But when you learn as you get older and older what you was off in, now let's just keep it real in this video. Some people will tell you that there is nothing wrong with being in the fraternity, nothing wrong with being in a sorority. Then you got some that'll tell you, man, I should have never got off into this stuff. It's wicked. If you look at what the Greeks was doing and where it come from. And then you got some that just don't care. And then you got some that get very, very, very offended because you talking about their Q-dog, you talking about Delta, you talking about Omega, you talking about this, you talking about that. They get very sensitive, like you talking about disrespecting the Most High. And I'll tell you something like I always tell you, well, it's a lot of Christians in it. Man, you can be a Christian involved in anything nowadays. Look at what Christianity have became. That's why I asked y'all a while ago, what's the difference between Eastern Christianity versus Western Christianity? What is Christianity? Did Yahushua create Christianity? And a lot of people get offended when you talk about that. So, but to put pressure on your child to be you, that's why a lot of children committed suicide, just be honest. That's why a lot of children just felt like they was a huge failure. And then look at how many parents try to live their life through their children. You gonna go to college, you're gonna go to the same college I went to. You better pledge the same fraternity, same organization. You better be a part of what I was, nothing less. Don't you come in this house with nothing less, trying to be something else, or we gonna have a problem. You actually got family members, you got daughters who ain't even speaking their moms. You got sons that don't even speak to their dads behind this type of stuff because daddy wanted him to be a Q dog. Well, I wanted you to be something else. And then, well, I want you to be a Mason like I am. I want you to try to make it to the 33rd degree. I need you on it, son. And then look at what happened. Failure. It reminds me of an old episode of, I think that was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And good morning. Will was trying to, Will had so much pressure on him, and this guy offered him some drugs to stay woke, to focus. And Carlton got a hold of him and took him on accident and almost killed Carlton. And Will was trying to explain the pressure he was going through. He trying to live up to everybody else's standards and all that stuff. That stuff happens for real. Think about how many people in Hollywood have committed suicide. And I know somebody gonna have a problem with this video because, oh man, they'll be talking about my fraternity. Everybody don't know what he's talking about. You don't know what I know. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know half of what when people tell me I don't know what they know, they don't even know what I study or they don't know what I done had approach to me. They don't know. I probably may know more about your organization than you do. I love when people tell me, man, you don't know what you're talking about. That's just more fuel to my fire. Because this stuff ain't new. When I started learning about Freemasonry years ago, because I got kinfolks in it, I know close people to me that's in it, I know pastors that's in it. Now ask yourself, why JT ain't one? I've been called, they don't hear, man, he look like a Mason, he sound like a Mason. I ain't no Mason. Never have and never will be. I'm not trying to join up with no frat, because you know why? We a raw priesthood. That's the only thing I need to be involved in is what my father say be involved in. And I ain't talking about Christianity. I ain't talking about religion. See, I ain't even off in religion. I had to get away from all that mess. That's why I'm more of set apart than playing apart. So with that being said, love y'all. Shalom.